Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Advancement Center, to the world beyond magic and miracles, to the world of hypersonic magic and joy and fun and living your very best life. That's what we're all about. It's so funny when I miss a broadcast for a week. I went to visit my mom for Mother's Day last week, and it feels like such a long time when 2 weeks has gone by in between my broadcasts instead of the usual 1 week. It feels really good to be back. And I just feel this, I don't know what it is, sparkly giddiness. I feel it from everyone watching, even those not watching today. I feel it from a lot of beings around that are seen and unseen. It's just this feeling in the air. And it's really fun to have this feeling of like champagne bubbles all around me. I can't help but share a story from this past week. My mother's been telling me that for a while now when we speak on the phone quite a bit, and she's been telling me about a peacock that showed up. So she lives out in the country up in the Sierra Nevada foothills up in Northern California, way out in the country. And she has all kinds of wild animals, deer, wild turkeys have become a thing. Bears show up once in a while, mountain lions. We saw a fox, actually. I've never seen a fox up there in over 30 years until this last trip. But one of the things that she told me, I don't know, in the last year is she has a new visitor. It's a peacock. So this beautiful creature came to visit when I came to visit as well. Although apparently it did something a little bit different this time. The day I arrived, maybe it was the first morning, I got there in the evening, and the next morning, the peacock and the turkeys actually are almost like they think they're roosters, because at 5:30 in the morning they're going off, waking you up. They're loud, and the peacock was making his very loud sounds. But the first morning I was there, I think I had just awoken. Maybe I was laying in bed, and I heard it. I heard the sound. So right outside, right to the right of the bed in this beautiful upstairs bedroom is French doors that go out onto a little deck. And this huge bird landed on the railing, virtually maybe 5 or 6 feet from me on the other side of the wall. And there's a mirror that I actually had installed in that room that I could see it through the corner of the mirror. I could see it. And it seemed to notice me. It looked at me. No, it didn't look at me. I started talking to it. It couldn't see me. It couldn't see through the reflection like I could. And before I knew it, it jumped down onto the floor of the deck and then up onto the other railing. So now I had a perfect view of this unbelievable bird. And it stood there for a while, looked up at the trees, yawned, and then sat, and then plumped, lowered himself on his belly instead of on his legs. Like he was there to stay for a while, and he just hung out with me for a very long time until I left to go downstairs. And I had more experiences with this creature. It would, as you walk outside this upstairs bedroom, there's a hallway that's just all windows next to it, sort of just about this height, maybe, that look out over the rooftop of the living room and into the trees in the distance. And this peacock, that my whole visit, he would come and look at me through these windows, and the weather was so beautiful. I had the windows wide open, and I was always talking to him, and he would look at me, and what a beautiful creature to see one of these animals up close. And anyway, so it was always there visiting my whole visit. And the day I was leaving, I got up rather early and was showering and getting ready to go. And I come up the stairs after my shower, and there he was, these windows I was talking about in this hallway. He was right there looking directly, I mean, just a few inches, to the point where it startled me and I let out a little yelp. And then I started laughing. And then he later, as I'm getting ready to go, I decided to make myself a cup of coffee and spend a little bit more time with my mom in the living room downstairs. And once again, he got up on this same spot on this railing, where from that railing he could see through a window and look down into the living room, and he could see that we were sitting there. And he just stayed there the whole time. And later that day, actually the next day, when I talked to my mom, she said, well, it's funny, now that you've left, I hear him calling in the distance, but he's not hanging around anymore like he was when I was there. And there was this experience I had. I will try to share it, try to describe it. It was probably, it doesn't matter when it was, but when he was sitting on that railing and we were so close to each other, there was some communication. It wasn't even, I don't know how to describe it. It was just this feeling, this amazing feeling I was experiencing of, I really don't know if I can find the right words. The closest I can do is say it was this feeling of connection with another amazing being that I've never had this before. It was new. There are no words. It was glorious. It's funny, that's my mother's name, Gloria. And it's that feeling, not just when you're seen, it's partly when you're seen, but it's something much bigger than that. Anyway, it was magic. It was so uplifting. It just about brought tears to my eyes. It was that kind of amazing thing where it's such a beautiful feeling. It's almost overwhelming. And I would say that since meeting Robert in 2011 up in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and experiencing again, I don't know how to describe it, being seen maybe for the first time in my life, really seen, and then to experience a human being speaking my language, which I don't really think I'd ever experienced before that here on planet Earth. And then Simeon, Robert's twin in the outer reaches of the universe, transmitting, broadcasting from here for, I guess, several years. I can't remember when it started. And now we're rebroadcasting at Robert's direction every week. I'll just randomly pick a Simeon broadcast from a year or two ago. It's again, it's a beyond words experience, but I can say that it's completely changed my life. The appreciation I feel is so massive. I suppose it's something I don't focus on, because if I do, I'll start leaking. But the joy that I experience most of the time is just phenomenal. Leaking and joyful all at the same time. It's joyful leaking. These experiences that I share now and then, especially with the animal world and with nature, things that I've always felt and have always been special to me. But there's this freedom that I've experienced these last, dozen years or whatever it's been, that these things that are uniquely my experiences, that are my feelings, that are my inclinations, oh my goodness, that are my gifts. I'm free to be myself, to be me, without judgment. Freedom in these moments to completely express me, my essence. Because when I sit here, it's not a lot of what comes through is coming through my brain, through my mind. It's coming from the outer reaches, coming from my origin. And this amazing experience to be able to sit here and share ourselves. It's quite phenomenal. If you had told me this a number of years ago that I'd be doing this, I'd say, no, you're crazy. I would not be sitting in front of a camera speaking. And yet here I've been now for, it's a few years now. And we're starting to also choose random selections of each of us that have been broadcasting, Barbara and David and Adrian and myself. So once again, I think we have maybe the third one coming up this Saturday. I don't view them. It's kind of like the roulette wheel, and I pick one, and that's what's next. But this experience is brilliant. And all this is about, we're called the Advancement Center. It's for the advancement of humanity, of all beings. But we're doing this here on planet Earth, although I know it reaches far, far and beyond. but each of us, these beautiful beings that happen to sit in front of this computer and speak, you can feel the love. You can feel the caring. You can feel each one's own expression of wanting to enhance everyone, uplift, bring joy, see yourself, experience your beautiful gifts that you bring to this world, and just celebrate you, celebrate everyone, all of us, celebrate this beautiful planet Earth that we live on, and this beautiful experience of life here. It's a part of who we are. We're so much more. And as we interact and do what we do and receive these amazing tips and pointers and tools to how to have an even better life, a life that we can and we do create. But some of these tools that we're given are so much fun to play with, to go play in the outer reaches of the universe from your chair and experiment and play. And then next thing you know, you're creating your vision here, right on planet Earth. It's all available. And it's so much fun. Just out of nowhere, I'll have a vision of I'm so much about beauty in the earth, and I'll just see this beautiful vision of the trees and nature all around us here on planet Earth. Not barren land with ugly concrete buildings everywhere, but a mixture. There's always life and earth and trees and greenery and flowers and birds. Just this really nice mix, because I see it all as this beautiful, harmonious balance that nature brings us as humans. The beauty of being with the trees and with the animals. There's a purity and innocence. It's one of the reasons I love being out in nature. It's so simple and again, these beautiful interactions. It doesn't matter if it's a tree or a flower or a little bird. It just brings me so much joy. And sharing it brings me joy once again. And I just hope that it brings joy to those that feel my transmission or hear my words or just feel my transmission. It's so much more than these words. So there it is. I guess that was my delivery today. As I've said many times before, I never know what I'm going to talk about or what's going to happen, but something happens every time. And it's usually new and unexpected. And so this felt very new, and it's always such a joy as I connect with each and every one of you. As I send each and every one the most perfect life, perfect health, and magic future that you can possibly imagine. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Genya.